November 13, 2016. A Pentagon official opens his laptop. He stares at 47 missed calls. His military email is suddenly trending on Twitter. It's brutally linked to the username, married but curious. His security clearance, his marriage, and his entire career are now in freefall. And he is not alone. A colossal 412 million accounts have just been exposed. A third-grade teacher in Phoenix vanishes overnight. A resignation letter is slipped under the principal's door. A famous reality TV star issues a public confession, then disappears from the spotlight. Politicians, CEOs, and actors are all exposed. How did the world's largest adult website become the biggest privacy disaster in history? And why did a company that was already hacked once leave the door wide open for round 2? FriendFinder Networks. The company behind Adult FriendFinder had seen trouble coming in. May 2015, this was a year before the mega breach. They had already been hacked once. Back then, it was only 4 million accounts, a mere splash compared to the tsunami that was to come. But it was alarming enough. The stolen 2015 database exposed users' emails. Their usernames, IP addresses, birth dates, and zip codes were all revealed. Even intimate details were made public. Things like their sexual preferences and whether they were seeking extramarital affairs. Yes, affairs. Adult FriendFinder wasn't just a hookup site for singles, it was a gathering place for anyone looking for some no strings attached fun, married or not. But that's not the shocking part. The truly shocking part is what FriendFinder did next. Absolutely nothing. Most companies would panic. They would install new firewalls, hire top security experts, and change everything. FriendFinder instead slapped on a digital band-aid and called it a day. Their exact words to users were, "We take security seriously." Those 5 words would age like milk left in the Sahara Desert. Here's what they didn't tell anyone. The 2015 breach wasn't just a hack, it was a preview. The hacker had discovered something buried deep in their code. It was a flaw so basic, so elementary, any first-year computer science student could have exploited it, yet FriendFinder left it there. Think about it. You are married and curious. One night you create an account on Adult FriendFinder just browsing. You tell yourself. You delete it the next morning. Crisis averted. Right. Wrong. Because here is what few million users didn't know. When you clicked delete account, FriendFinder didn't actually delete anything. They just added at deleted1.com to your email, and they called it removed. Your secrets were still there. Your preferences were recorded forever. That deletion was a catastrophic lie, one that would eventually cost lives. Meanwhile, Ashley Madison, the infamous cheating site, gets hacked just months later. It caused suicides, divorces, and even international headlines. You would think every adult site on the planet would be scrambling to upgrade security. You would think FriendFinder would learn. But they didn't. In fact, internal documents would later reveal that FriendFinder's password system was so outdated, they were storing millions of passwords in plain text. Not every single one, but a few percent, which is still millions of them, were not even encrypted to protect them. And one thing was even worse, they converted every password to lowercase. By October 2016, FriendFinder had accumulated 412 million registrations. 20 years of secrets. Military personnel using their mail addresses. Government employees with .gov emails. Teachers, pastors, your neighbor Jim, who coaches Little League. All of them were trusting a company that couldn't even properly delete an account. But here is the question that should truly terrify you. If the first hack was just a warning shot, who was loading the cannon? And why did they wait exactly 17 months to expose them? October 18, 2016. A 20-year-old security researcher is hunting for one thing. LFI. The acronym stands for Local File Inclusion to hackers. It is the ultimate cheat code. A tunnel directly to any of the website's private files. Files that contained 412 million people's private lives. The researcher goes by Revolver. But his real name is unknown. Just like his location. But his motivation is not unknown. His motivation is where things get interesting. Revolver isn't your typical hacker. He has no dark web reputation or criminal records. He is just a kid with a laptop and a Twitter account. But in the next 72 hours, he will become either the hero or the villain of the biggest data breach in history. Even he doesn't know which one yet. Here is what happened. Revolver finds the LFI vulnerability completely by accident. He is just poking around, testing Adult FriendFinder's defenses. Something he had done thousands of times before on other sites. His His screen fills with data that shouldn't exist. User directories and configuration files all reveal the private data that no one should see. Most hackers would stay silent. They would download everything and sell it for millions. Revolver does something unprecedented. He screenshots the vulnerability and tweets it directly at adult friendfinder. Yes, in public, visible to their 50,000 followers. FriendFinder's response arrives in 4 hours. Issue resolved. No customer data was compromised. They just told 50,000 people they fixed it. But the download logs would later show something impossible. Someone had already extracted the entire database. It happened at 11:49 p.m., 3 minutes before Revolver's tweet. How do you steal something before it is even discovered? While Revolver was tweeting warnings, someone else was watching. Someone who goes by Peace. A name that is about to become brutally ironic. Peace isn't interested in warnings or white hat ethics. Peace has sold data from LinkedIn, MySpace, Tumblr, and many more sites. His combined victim count reaches 800 million, and Peace just found his next gold mine. The timeline here is crucial, so pay attention. Revolver discovers the bug at 11:47 p.m. He tweets about it at 11:52 p.m. Friend Finder fixes it by 3 a.m. on October 19th, but Peace was already inside by 11:49 p.m. 2 minutes after discovery, 3 minutes before the tweet. How is that possible? Well, it's not, unless Peace was already there, watching, waiting, and using Revolver as cover. Think about this. You are Peace. You have been sitting on this vulnerability for weeks, maybe months, but you can't use it without leaving traces. Then suddenly, this kid, Revolver, finds it independently and announces it to the world. Perfect scapegoat, perfect timing. A perfect crime. It's October 19th, 2 a.m. Revolver, frustrated by FriendFinder's denial, sends that infamous tweet. No reply from adult FriendFinder. They will call it hoax again. And I will fucking leak everything. But Revolver doesn't have everything. He has proof of the vulnerability and some sample data screenshots. The real treasure, those 412 million accounts, is already gone. It has been transferred through 7 different servers, 3 countries, encrypted, and exposed on the dark web. Here is what makes this genius. FriendFinder can't admit the real breach without admitting they lied. Revolver can't leak what he doesn't have. And Peace just became invisible, hidden behind the chaos of 2 public figures pointing fingers at each other. The security community is buzzing. Forums light up with speculation. But everyone is asking the wrong question. They're asking who hacked FriendFinder, when they should be asking, how long has this data been going around? Because what if Peace didn't steal it on October 18th? What if the theft happened weeks earlier, and October 18th was just the day they got caught? November 13th, 2016. During the dawn, while America sleeps, a notification pings across security forums worldwide. The leaked source has obtained the adult FriendFinder database. 412,214,295 accounts. Let that terrifying number sink in. That is more than the entire population of the United States. Every single person you've ever met multiplied by a few thousands, and every one of those accounts contains a secret someone desperately wanted to hide. But the number isn't the story. The story is what happens in the next 6 hours. Just after the post, the first journalist sees the notification. He frantically calls his editor. How big? Bigger than Ashley Madison. How much bigger? 10 times. 1 hour later, someone discovers the mail addresses. 78,301 military emails from active duty, veterans, and special forces. All linked to accounts with usernames like Looking for Fun 69 and Married Beck. Here is the part that makes your blood run cold. The passwords were 99% cracked within hours, not because hackers are geniuses, but because of one single decision FriendFinder made back in 2002. They converted every password to lowercase. I Love My Wife 2016 became I Love My Wife 2016. A simple component placement was crackable in 3 seconds, instead of 3 years. But why would any company deliberately weaken passwords? The answer involves a help desk metric that would cost them $578 million. These are not tech-illiterate grandparents. These are people who thought, it's just a porn site. Who cares about security? Those people are about to learn exactly who cares. The first extortion emails begin. This happens a few hours after the public exposure. We know your username. Pay 0.5 Bitcoin or we tell your spouse name. The criminals had already cross-referenced the leak with Facebook, LinkedIn, and even public records. They knew your real name, your spouse's name, and your kids' schools. The email continues. You have 72 hours. But wait, remember those 16 million deleted accounts? They are in there, too. People who thought they had erased their mistake 5, 10, or 15 years ago suddenly got emails. It was about something they had completely forgotten existed. Imagine explaining that to your spouse. Honey, I swear that was before we met. I thought I deleted it. The government noticed something terrifying. The IP addresses in the leak, the login times, and the geographic data show foreign intelligence agencies. They now know exactly which Pentagon employees visited adult sites. They know when and from where Totsum logged in, from secure facilities, from deployment locations, and from embassies. This isn't just embarrassing, it is a national security nightmare. Every one of those 78,301 military emails is now a potential blackmail target. Colonel Johnson, we know about your adult friend finder account. Now, about those troop movements. 5 hours later, Friend Finder releases a statement, 20-7 words that say absolutely nothing. We are investigating reports of a security incident. Users should update their passwords as a precaution. We take privacy seriously. They still won't confirm the breach. Size. They won't admit the deleted accounts were exposed. They won't acknowledge they stored passwords incorrectly. They won't apologize. Just update your passwords. As if that helps when your secrets are already public by noon. The leak goes mainstream. CNN, Fox, and even the BBC. Your mom sees it on Facebook. Adult Friend Finder hacked. 400 million exposed. The headlines focus on the salacious details, missing the real story. This was not just a hack, it was a betrayal, 20 years in the making. Because here is what the investigation would later reveal. Friend Finder knew. They knew their security was garbage. They knew deleted accounts weren't deleted. They knew passwords were stored incorrectly. Internal emails from 2013 show engineers begging management to upgrade security. And the management response was, it's too expensive. How expensive? The security upgrade would have cost $3 million. The lawsuits from this breach, they reached $578 million, and are still counting, but the real cost can't be measured in dollars. It is measured in silence at dinner tables. In empty bedrooms, in suicide hotline calls that spiked 400% that week. So what happens when 412 million private sins suddenly become public? And when the first lives start to collapse, how many more will follow? 3 days after the leak, Sarah Martinez, a third-grade teacher in Phoenix, doesn't show up for work. Her principal finds her resignation letter slipped under the door. No explanation, no forwarding address, just gone. She is not alone. In the 6 months following the breach, over 400,000 people suddenly change jobs. They delete social media or simply vanish. The leak creates a hidden diaspora. People are fleeing lives that no longer feel safe. But here is what the headlines missed. The breach keeps getting worse. In December 2016, some hackers create check if your spouse cheated websites. For the cost of $39.99, you can search the database. Except half are scams that just steal your credit card. The other half, they record who is searching and blackmail them. 2. We know you checked if your wife cheated. Pay up or we'll tell her you don't trust her. In January 2017, dating apps start cross-referencing the leak. Tinder quietly blocks 2.3 million email addresses. Match.com removes 1.7 million. They don't announce it, but if your email was in the Friend Finder leak, you are secretly blacklisted from half the dating internet. Later, in February 2017, comes the first confirmed suicide directly linked to the breach. It was a Pentagon contractor, a father of 2, married for 15 years. His account was created in 2008 before he met his wife, but it didn't matter. The details that emerged in his farewell note reveal something horrifying. He never even used the account. He created it, browsed for 5 minutes, and then left. But in 2016's leak, he might as well have been the site's biggest user. In March 2017, insurance companies quietly begin purchasing the leaked data. Not officially, of course, they used third parties, the so-called data brokers. Suddenly, your life insurance premium increases by 15%. Your health insurance denies that treatment. They don't say why. They don't have to. And here is the Kicker.friendfinder, single quotes is stock price recovers. Within 8 weeks, by April 2017, they are profitable again. New users sign up daily, because here is the dark truth about human nature. People think, it won't happen to me. Even after watching 412 million others burn. The lawsuits pile up. There are class actions in 27 states, and FriendFinder's legal strategy is simple: delay, deflect, and deny. Their lawyers argue that users assumed the risk by joining an adult site. Imagine that, your privacy violated, your life destroyed, and their defense is, you should have known we were incompetent. In May 2017, a security researcher makes a chilling discovery. The October 2016 breach. It wasn't the end. FriendFinder had been continuously leaking data. Small amounts, different databases. The 412 million was just what? Piece grabbed in one go. The real number of exposed accounts might be double, but the investigation reveals something worse. Remember Peace, the mysterious hacker who vanished. Investigators find traces of his work dating back to 2014, 2 years before the first breach. FriendFinder had been hemorrhaging data for years, and either didn't know, or simply didn't care. In June 2017, the Congress calls hearings. FriendFinder's CEO testifies via video link. He claims they are a victim. 2. He shows no awareness that storing deleted accounts was deceptive, no acknowledgement of the lowercase password. Catastrophe. Just corporate speak and deflection. The senators are to ask the right questions. The hearing accomplishes nothing. Meanwhile, Revolver, the 20-year-old who found the bug, goes completely dark. He deletes his Twitter. He disappears from forums. Later, investigators would discover why. 3 days after the leak, he received a visit, a black SUV with federal badges. He was not arrested, but he was advised to maintain silence. To this day, nobody knows his real name. Peace is still free, and he is probably still selling data. The estimated earnings from the FriendFinder leak are $18 million in Bitcoin from 2016. That's a few billion nowadays. That's about $4 per 1,000 lives destroyed. Wholesale prices for human misery. But here is the real twist. Remember how ignored all the warning signs, the 2015 hack, the security flaws, the deleted accounts that weren't deleted. They weren't the first company to play Russian roulette with your secrets. They were copying someone else's playbook. A year before FriendFinder's disaster, another company made identical mistakes. Same arrogance. Same lies. Same devastating consequences. Except their tagline was even more ironic. Life is short. Have an affair. 37 million people trusted them with the one secret that could destroy everything. CEOs, government officials, and celebrities all thought they were safe. They hid behind anonymous usernames and burner emails. They weren't. And when that database went public, it didn't just end marriages, it ended lives, literally.